what's good? As y'all already know, this is the Brainz podcast. We got my man BG31 in the building. Our guy, One Trey Rock. You know what I'm saying? And yours truly, Tone Dishes II. Man, look, we appreciate y'all for locking in on this live stream. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Really helps the content grow. Really helps everything get everywhere. And helps everyone see everything.
What is up? What is up? Welcome to another episode of the Bird Brain Podcast. I'm 1/3 of the host, Mr. BG31. We got our boy One Trigger Trey in the building, and we got a very special guest tonight, Mr. Philly Jim. How you guys doing today, my guys?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Beautiful night. Let's get it.
Doing fantastic, and yeah, guys, thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, no problem, man. I know we haven't did a show in a while, so I'm like, hey, let's get it on here. Let's get it. Let's talk some Eagles football, my God. Before we get started, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you at. You guys, his link is inside of the chat and inside of the description. Make sure you guys go hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, absolutely. My link's in the description, like you just said. I'm Philly Jim. You can search me on YouTube. Usually what I do is I do a bunch of different videos during the week. Whatever I want to think of. I have different series. Like I'm doing a series right now. It's called Positional Preview. So I'm looking at all the positions on the team and, trying to talk about how it's going to play out, depth chart, training camp, competition, all that stuff. And then I got 2 podcasts. I have an Eagles podcast as well. It's called the LinkedIn Podcast. You guys can watch that tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. And then I also have an NFL podcast on Saturdays at 7 Eastern. It's called the Gauntlet Podcast.
Nice, man. So since it's been a while, I need you to tell me, break me down, draft, free agency. Tell me some good things you loved about it. How you feel about the situation.
Absolutely. I know that everyone loves to point out the A.J. Brown trade. And I think that was a great move. Just because of the fact that he does have like that relationship with Jalen going back for a lot of years now. And it's actually funny because Jalen was at his draft party. Now the players have draft with their families, all that stuff. Pretty cool stuff. But I got to say, to me, my favorite move that we did this offseason was actually the signing of Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick, the last few seasons of his career, he's so productive. He's getting sacks, he's getting to the quarterback, and the Eagles defense was one of the worst teams in terms of getting sacks last year. So you add him to the mix. Josh Sweat, you signed him to an extension last year. He gets better every year as well. You got BG coming back, you got Fletch coming back, and you took Jordan Davis in the first round. So Hassan Reddick is from the area. He's pretty local. He also played his college football at Temple, and Temple also plays their games at Lincoln Financial Field. So I feel like for him, it means so much to him that he's really going to show up and show out when he gets to play. So Hassan Reddick has to be my favorite move that we did this offseason.
Nice. I like it. And I like you said, local guy. We picked up a lot of local guys this year. A couple of big name local guys. I'm glad to see these guys. Kaiser White's coming back to the area. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of talent here, and I think that this team's definitely going to thrive. As you've seen on the thumbnails, I have put, the Eagles are locked and loaded, ready for a championship run. When you hear that, how do you guys feel about that? Do you think I'm being overly excited about the situation, or do you believe in this team? Either one of you guys can go first.
I'm going to say this. I feel like we had a team to compete with anybody. It's just more of a chemistry, coaching, quarterback type thing. So, I feel like the defense is going to be fine. These dudes we brought in a lot of playmakers. Like, to be honest, we brought in a lot of playmakers. Kaiser White. Every year he just been getting better. Tackles, sacks, interceptions. His numbers speak for itself. He improved every year. N'Kobe Dean, he was the leader of one of the best defenses historically in college football. So, we brought in a lot of dudes that can make plays. James Bradbury, you already know about big play Slay. Even Avonte Maddox out of the nickel. So, even going to go get the nickel from Washington, he was a pretty good playmaker last year too. So, yeah, so it's to me it's up to game with the defense. It's like we can't play that soft zone with the kind of pass rushers we got up front right now. We gotta attack. This gotta be an attacking defense. We got pass rushing linebackers. Actually got linebackers that can pass rush. So, this defense gotta be aggressive. It'll help our corners and safeties make plays. And when it comes to the offense, we got everything we need on offense. The only question mark is Jalen. If Jalen gonna come into this season, did he improve his accuracy, his throwing motion, his anticipation? I feel like he's working on it. He's trying to work on it, but let's see how it goes once the live bullets start flying. So, as far as the championship run, I can't really say that right now because it's so early, but I feel like we have the pieces to go on the championship run.
Okay. Jim?
I don't think this team is going to be there yet in terms of talking about going to the Super Bowl. However, I do think that they're going to have a very successful season. I think we are going to see some progression from Jalen Hurts, and I see this team as a division winner and a team that can advance into the playoffs. If you told me right now that, this team could reach the NFC Championship, I actually could see that happening if all things go well, because the team's defense is very, very good, and the running game is very, very good. We had the top running game last year, and you would think that will be probably top 5 in terms of rushing. And when you're in the playoffs, the two things that travels, throwing 500 yards and 6 touchdowns, unless you're Patrick Mahomes or somebody, or even Mahomes, he got neutralized against the Bengals. So you can't really always depend on those type of heroics. The two things that travel is great defense, keeping teams at a low scoring average, and then running the ball and, churning out yards and controlling the time of possession, keeping your Aaron Rodgers, your Tom Brady's, and all these elite quarterbacks off the field, having them on the sideline so they can't really do too much damage to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I do feel like this is the time. This is a team, kind of like, the 16-17. You've seen Carson, Dougie P, first year together. They won 9 games. I think, was it 9 that year? 9? They won 9-6.
7-9, I think.
7-9, yeah. They won 7 games, 7-9. But it was a building. You seen like the next year could be something if we add some more pieces. And I feel like we all made a list at the end of the season, and all those, positions that we had on that list got filled this offseason. So it's like, to not feel like we can win it all. I can't really give you more than 5 teams maybe that I feel like have legit better rosters. Like, it is a proven thing. Like, Jalen has to take the next step. These young guys have to, show that they developed and they play better this year. The rookies have to actually show up and show out. Like, those things have to happen. But I feel like the way this team is built right now, with all the hometown hero type stuff, going on, where they get to come back home, I feel like a lot of these players are going to be playing a lot better than we even expect them to play, just for those, little things, familiarity where you're at, being able to see family, friends come to your game. Having your mom be a huge Eagles fan and your number one draft pick, things like that. Nakobe Dean, getting drafted in the third round when everybody said he was a first round pick. Like those are huge
Mm-hmm.
things that can give huge momentum to players going into the system, just going into the season. And a lot of people are going to be overlooking those things. They'll be like, "Oh, what you talking about? He's just a third round linebacker." I feel like let's get to that part. How good do you think Nakobe Dean can be this year? Do you think this guy's going to be? Because I believe Nakobe Dean's going to be the next best Eagle linebacker we've ever had. Moving forward. Year in, year out. I think we needed this guy for a long time now. We were good with these outside linebackers that we always picked up, added to the team that might play some good football. But this is a true middle linebacker. Like this guy's going to be the field general of our defense for years to come. And I think, sky's the limit for the guy.
I love when the Kobe Dean with me. I love the talent. It's just, I feel like he's not going to really play that much at the beginning. This based off like experience. TJ was a little bit more experienced in that defense. And the Kobe Dean, I feel like he needs to get a little bit bigger to really be an impact player in the NFL. He's great with his eyes. He's great recognizing plays, but it's just the physical aspect of it. I'm running up into the going up against 350-pound linemen trying to get off those blocks and stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit challenging at first until he works his way into the game. So I feel like he's not really going to be a super impact this year, but I feel like he's going to be one of a great Eagles linebacker.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I remember at the draft, we were in the second round, and when we drafted Jurgens, I was a little frustrated because I thought that we should have taken Dean with that slot. So when Dean was available and selected, I was shook. Like I couldn't believe that he had fallen to that point. But that's just one of the reasons this was a very, very good draft for us. So as far as Dean playing, I think he is going to play, and I think he is going to make an impact as a rookie. I hear what you're saying in terms of like his size and everything, but I also think that the linebacker position in the NFL has changed quite a bit from what it was back in the day. Because, you used to have like these super big guys. You used to have like Brian Urlacher, 6'3", 240, Ray Lewis, 250-pound guys running around and making all the plays. But a lot of these smaller linebackers have been able to have some success in the NFL. Even if you look in the 49ers, Fred Warner, he's only got 5 or so pounds on Nakobe Dean, and he seems to be managing pretty well. It just depends. I think everything is going to be matchups. In terms of starters, it's going to be a very good competition. It's going to be a very good competition because TJ Edwards was very good last year. You also had Kaiser White coming in that led the Chargers with tackles, and then you add Nakobe Dean to that mix. And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, but I feel like with Gannon, there's not going to be like a set, this linebacker is always like going to be on the field. Yeah. Nakobe Dean has, in terms of his speed, I think he's got most of the guys beat. So if you're going up against a super athletic quarterback, let's say they were playing Lamar Jackson, for example, you want a guy that can, run sideline to sideline and has that level of speed. So for Nakobe, I feel like it's going to, and the whole defense in general, it's going to just depend on, what the matchups are and what matchups they think that is going to work the best in their favor.
Yeah, and I get what you guys are saying too, and I get what you're saying, Trey, about the smaller. But you forget those London Fletcher type linebackers. There's been a lot of good smaller linebackers as long as you have one key thing, and that's defensive line. We have a top 3 defensive line in the league, and those guys are no slouches, Jordan Davis is huge. That's what made him look good in college. We brought him with us. with him over here. You know what I'm saying? You got, Fletcher Cott's happy to play this year. You heard this little press conference. He go do what he can this year to teach Jordan Davis and make sure that he can, reach his full potential. Plus, he's no slouch himself, and he's a big man. You got Hargraves. You got Milton Williams. You got some really good defensive tackles that's going to keep Nakobe Dean clean. One thing that I think stood out with a lot of his highlights in college was the fact that before the play was even ran, he knew the play, before they were running it. And
Yep.
he'll be running the direction as soon as they say hike, instead of him even looking. He's already running full speed, towards where the ball is going. And I think that's something that, linebacker, a good linebacker when you see one, be able to really read and diagnose plays really fast, and seek and destroy his target. And I think we've seen a lot of that in Georgia. And I think that translates over to the NFL because our defense as a whole is just as good and it's way better actually than the Georgia defense that he played in last year. So I think I'm really high up on Nakobe Dean. I think he's going to be that field general that we need. And like you guys said, he don't have to do those extra things. He don't have to be like Parsons and be a pass rusher. You know why? Because we got a Hassan Reddick. You know what I'm saying? Reddick is our pass rushing linebacker. Kaiser White, one of the best coverage, linebackers out there too. So he don't have to really worry about being a guy that, you got to make sure you're locking up the best tight end, whatever. This guy, those extra
You got
things
two
that
really good corners on the team as well.
Yeah. You got two really good corners. You got nice safety. Your defensive line is great. So it's like you really don't have to do a lot of extra things that other linebackers might have to do to be considered good. You know what I'm saying? Like we kind of freed that up. We got one of each type of position of linebacker. You got the pass rusher, the coverage, and now you got the field general. So I really think he's going to start early. I like TJ Edwards. I think he's a solid football player. But like I said before, TJ Edwards not, his ceiling. What type of football player he is and what he can bring to a football team. Like, if Dean does it right, his ceiling is like Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how smart this kid is on that football field. Where as long as he stays healthy and he goes out there and handles his business the way I think he will, sky's the limit for this guy. He's going to be clean. He's going to be making hits and making plays left and right, man.
But Dean also was rated, I think he was rated like top 3 in linebacker pass rusher. So, I mean, he's one of the better blitzers on our team too. So, I mean, I feel like it's just gonna be more strength and durability for real with him. I mean, can he stay healthy for a whole 16, 17 game season? I mean, he is a smaller dude. I mean, he's a smaller dude, and the NFL pounding is a little bit different in college. So, I mean, we're just gonna have to watch for that. But he's definitely a playmaker. He's gonna be a playmaker on this team, and I'm happy that he's here.
Right. Let's go with Jordan Davis. How big of a game changer Jordan Davis is gonna be?
Yeah, you go,
Jim.
Oh, I think he's going to be a massive difference maker. Just if you look at last year, one of the struggles that the team has was being able to stop the run. So I think the two biggest things for this team, our run defense completely fell apart after Brandon Graham got hurt. So I think that we have to really understand how much value Brandon Graham also brings to the run game defense. But he's coming back, and Jordan Davis he was an elite run stopper. He's a freak athlete, and I mean this guy's enormous. This guy is like 6'4" and almost 400 pounds. So it's insane. I feel like having that kind of guy in the middle of your defense with Fletcher Cox, it's going to take pressure off of him. It'll take pressure off of Hargrave. And those big guys in the middle of the defense are really going to be shutting some stuff down. And then you got some good edge rushers. Josh Sweat and Reddick are going to be a dynamic duo too. So, yeah, I really think that Jordan Davis being here is really going to help out the run defense go back to being that dominant run defense that we're used to seeing, because normally our MO is not allowing a bunch of teams to run for 100 yards. We had one of the longest streaks where holding teams under 100 yards. And last year, it was just brutal. It was like that was unacceptable. So I think that it's going to be a lot better because of Jordan Davis coming into the team.
Are you saying that you think that he's just going to be? Do you think like that's the difference? Like
no, I think he'll make a
Like, do you
He'll make
think
a
he's going to
difference as a
have an
pass rusher
impact
too.
in the passing game with his speed? Do you think he's going to have an impact on the
Yeah,
pass
absolutely.
rush too as well?
Absolutely, he will, because it's kind of like what everyone's talking about, the offense and the receivers, and how many guys can burn you. I think when you're looking in the defensive line, who do you want to get sacked by like the least? I guess there's a
Facts.
lot of guys that can get you. So if you're too focused on someone like Fletcher Cox, who's been seeing double teams in his career a lot. So if
Mhm.
you're seeing him, and then what are you going to do when there's like a big 300 400-pound guy coming towards you with some really, like, Josh Sweat has one of the most explosive first steps. It's like when the ball snapped, like he's already in the backfield. So there's a bunch of dudes on the defensive line that can burn you. And then if you have all these guys in your face at once, you're going to force a pass that you don't want to force. And Darius Slayer, James Bradbury is going to be looking to take it the other way. So I think this defense is very, very dangerous.
I think he fits well in this defense, just based off the fact that, we have two other veterans in front of him. They can teach him the game. Conditioning, stuff like that, because that's going to be Jordan Davis' biggest problem in the NFL. You're going to have to keep taking this dude off the field. Even at Georgia, he really didn't play a lot of snaps there. Just based off how big and how massive he was. He burnt out a little bit too fast. So you need dudes like Jordan Davis for like fourth quarter, third quarter, clutch situations. He could get you that push up the middle. The only thing, like I said, my only concern with him is his stamina. How much you could use him in the game. And I'm really not a big fan of his pass rushing skills, because he can't bend. He don't bend. He just try to out muscle everybody. He's not going to win that way all the time in the NFL. Like I said, it's a plus that he got Fletcher Cox and Hargrave in front of him. They could teach him the game, little techniques and stuff like that. And I feel like his impact this year probably going to come a little bit later in the season. Once he really start learning the game, get his feet wet a little bit. Know how these veteran NFL linemen trying to block him, trying to attack him. I feel like he's gonna be great in his defense this year.
Yeah, I think this guy is definitely the replacement for Fletch next year. I think the sky's the limit. He could go down as one of the greatest GTs ever. Just off of some, I know it's too early to put it on him saying he's going to do it, but I think these are his ceilings. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't see guys this big coming out. Like you say, he doesn't been on the ships, but like you don't really have to when you're that big as much as you people think you might need to. Because these NFL linemen are way smaller than you. And guess who who he gets to practice against every single day? Two monsters and Jordan Mailata and Landon Dixon. These guys are mammoth of man too. So you're practicing against that every single day. You learn, how to handle these professional. We have one of the best lines in the league. They say we do have the best line in the league. So when you're practicing against the best line in the league every single day, day in, day out, you have nothing better to do but to grow. Plus with a Fletcher Cox, Hargrave, even Milton Williams put in some work last year. Like you got some really talented players, BG on the end that you're playing with, and that's going to be teaching you, man. The sky's the limit. Your mom's a huge Eagles fan. This guy was championship game 360. He went to the combine, 345. So he already lost weight. And now he's even more slimmer, more in shape. He's telling you, like, they pay me to play football now. It's
And he
different
ran
from
a
me being a
4.7
college
at the
kid.
combine.
Yeah. It's different from being a college kid. Imagine 4'7" and you're 15, 20 pounds lighter. How much faster you think you? Now you're talking about 4'6", maybe even 4'5" if he's working out. You got professionals telling you exactly what you need to make your body do exactly what you want it to do. You know what I'm saying? Like he's looking slimmer. He's not eating that's crazy. Like you said, like it's a job now. It's a big difference from when you're doing it for fun and you're getting paid for it. Like I really feel like that he understands that because he talked about it, inside his press conference where it's like, I get paid to do this now. So now I am taking all necessary precautions every way possible. And I think the sky's the limit. You can't teach that side. You can't teach. Why do you think Calais Campbell been in the league for so long? He's a monster, regardless if he's playing at the top of his game or the bottom of his game. He's still a productive player. Either he's just going to be a run stopper, or you're going to have him in a year where he's better in shape. He's actually going to get you some sacks too, But at the end of the day, he's a giant, and they don't make very many of these type men. Plus the boy's what, 21, 22 years old, so he's still young. You can mold him into whatever you want him to be. So I'm really high on Jordan Davis. I think he's going to be great this year.
Another fear I had with Jordan Davis is, and I've seen this like a lot, just a big guy just moving that fast, man. That's really like when the major injuries start coming. Like, you shouldn't be that big moving that fast, man. Like, that's where you start tearing stuff up. I mean, tearing them ligaments up, planting the wrong way. It's like, I mean, I pray for the best. I hope it doesn't happen. But I mean, that's a big dude running the 4.7, moving that fast off the line. Any little quick touch he could take, one of them things could pop. So I mean, that's another fear I got with him. But I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen.
So we said some of this stuff too about Fletch when he came out. He was really fast for his size. He was a monster out there. And this guy's even bigger and faster and stronger than he is and younger. So Fletch didn't really get hurt too much, throughout his career. He wasn't like always injured or anything like that. He's relatively healthy for the most part. So, I always gotta look at the positive side of it. Like, I don't even worry about the injury side of it. Like, you plan for none of them to get hurt, even though some of them are definitely going to get hurt. We just hope it's not our main guys out there. Jalen Hurts, new throwing motion. Do you think it matters? Don't matter.
I think it matters because, when you're looking at quarterbacks that have success, it is like Nick Sirianni says, like, it's about having really good fundamentals. And Sirianni said, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that his fundamentals have extremely improved. So that makes all the difference, because if you're, if you're setting your feet and you got bad feet and it's all jacked up in the pocket, then you're probably not going to throw the most accurate pass in the world. And if you're, having a weird throwing motion, you're not going to be able to get the ball out quickly enough. So I think that for him, the game is just slowing down. And I think that his performance against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was the best thing to happen to him, because he is a type of player that I think needs to hear, the disrespect that he can't get it done. Like the guys on the sideline saying, "Oh, he can't read," and all this stuff. I feel like that embarrassing performance is only going to help him to get to the level that he wants to get at. And I think that's the biggest reason why he was out in California and working with Tom House and working with all these great quarterback gurus and coaches that, could really help him take his game to the next level. And now it's all about for him putting it together. So I think that him fixing some of those little things is actually going to go a long way for him.
How far off of being a good quarterback did you think he was good after last year? Like, how far off do you think? Like, how big is that? Everybody has their margin. How much more better you want Jalen to get to believe that he's the guy? Like, how big is your window in terms of, like, how much more does Jalen need to get? Like, do you take into consideration that this is, the first time in his career he's able to go into the same system?
100%, because when he was in Alabama, obviously Alabama is who they are. They're always winning. So when you're a team that's always winning, then you're going to have assistant coaches that, get a head coach job elsewhere. So that's why Alabama was going through a bunch of different offensive coordinators, and he transferred to Oklahoma, and he played in the Oklahoma offense and was really good there. And then he comes to Philly, and I think something that, in my opinion, hindered his growth. It's not his fault. It's just a situation that he was put into. You had Carson with the big contract, and they were trying to use him like not a quarterback. in his rookie season, his actual rookie season.
Yeah.
So I feel like as badly as Carson was playing that season, regardless of how much money he was playing, I feel like Jalen should have got more playing time as the quarterback of the team a lot earlier than what he did at almost the end of the season. Because this past season was closer, I think, to a rookie season. You know, in terms of it's his team, he's the starting quarterback. You know, he's doing the plays, he's involved with all of that, and with the first team offense all week. So I feel like now everything is slowing down for him. So I think he is going to get a lot better as a passing quarterback, because that's what people say. They say that you can't get it done as a passer, and I think that he's going to prove that he can. And the work that he put in to fix the mechanical issues, I think is going to take him to the next level. And then, I mean, you got to look at how many weapons is on the team. You know, it's kind of hard to not perform with this group of guys, because all these guys are very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
It's hard to name names like for all these guys. I mean, do you want to get cooked by Devontae, or do you want to get cooked by AJ or Dallas Goedert, or Quez Watkins is a former track star, so you get Bernie too. So if you're worried about that, then I really don't know how you can't succeed with all these players around you.
Facts. So you're saying for sure you think he's going to take that next step?
He's taking the next step.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind.
One Trey.
Yeah, for me, I don't really feel like his throwing motion was his problem. I mean, it's good to work on it, tighten it up. I mean, get it a little bit better. But really, Jalen Hurts' problem was he really didn't trust the offense too much. So he didn't trust throws. He didn't trust the blocking. It was just like he just reverted back to what he knew like too often. I mean, and that's run, get yards, slide. I mean, cut half of the field off. That really was Jalen Hurts' game after that one read wasn't there. So with me, it's just him. For me, it's just him trusting what he sees a little bit more. I mean, that's all you got to do for real, because there was a lot of times I see Jalen had throws, then he waited a little bit too long. That window closed up. It wasn't there no more. If he would have just let it rip, the throw would have been there. So it's just him trusting his arm, trusting what he see in front of his face a little bit more. I don't really think it was the throwing motion, but it's great that he's trying to clean that up. For him to take the next step, though, he's gonna have to learn how to abuse NFL cornerbacks, because it's like I felt like a lot of times last year he bailed those dudes out. I mean, because he didn't just throw the football. It's like, I mean, you have dudes, you have athletes on that field, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, that I feel like they can beat any one-on-one coverage. I mean, and if you see that, like even in that Tampa Bay game, Devontae Smith was open all game. It's like Jalen Hurts was seeing stuff that wasn't really there. It's like I seen a few times Quez beat dudes on outside routes, outside corner routes, post routes, and he didn't trust it to let it rip, and then the play just died. It's like, bro, if you're gonna take that next step, you gotta be like kind of like had that development like Russell Wilson had. I mean, Russell Wilson wasn't the greatest thrower coming in, but I mean, year after year he improved until he was one of the best passers in the NFL. So I feel like Jalen could take those kind of steps. He just got to want to. He just got to trust what he's seeing. And I mean, it's better that he's in the same offense. I mean, 2 years in a row. So maybe he'd be a little bit more comfortable in it.
So basically, what you're saying is you think
your receivers, yes, he's going to do it, or you don't think he's going to do it?
I feel like he's gonna make an improvement. I don't know how big of a jump it's gonna be, but he's gonna improve. I feel like the numbers gonna improve, his passing yardage and stuff. And I mean, I feel like he's gonna improve. So I don't feel like it's gonna be no big jump like we all thinking it is.
So you're saying you just think he should be more decisive?
More decisive, yep. A little bit more decisive. Just trust what he's seeing a little bit more.
And I feel you what you're saying with all that, but I also think you got to realize you had a new coordinator that didn't even really know how to call plays for this team, didn't understand how to call the plays for this team. You had some of your top receivers when he was dropping dimes on them, dropping the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think that it was all, you in the beginning of the year, you had, what, two starting linemen go out early in the season, where you got to trust a backup, first year, second year player to come in and play, in the lights of a Pro Bowl when you knew you had a Pro Bowler there. Like Brandon Brooks was a Pro Bowler. You already knew you had a Pro Bowl right guard. He goes down. Now you're like throwing somebody in there that not playing at the same level as Brandon Brooks. Say Amala go out. You have another lineman not playing at the level. Even though they played at a good level, it's still not the level would have been played if you had your original starters. Overworking them, the game planning, the way he game plan, that they game plan some plays. Now, I'm not giving all this blame on everybody else. I'm just saying, like, these are some things a young quarterback that why you think he ended up, having so many rushing yards. It's like, okay, when you got some of these things moving around, your coach not even sure how to use your players. I know I can run the football. I'm gonna go make some plays that way. In terms of like and making the passing the ball, making the right reads or whatnot. And plus, he was a first year starter, like all first year starters. To be, like I keep telling people, to be sixth overall in production as a quarterback in your first year starting, that is amazing. And to me, there's been a lot worse first year starting quarterbacks out there. Carson didn't win as many games, you know, and everybody was really high on him. There's a lot of other quarterbacks that didn't win as many games. Peyton Manning had more interceptions. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just things about the football. Like you said, Russ played and got better as the years go on. We can't put him on the situation. I feel like we shouldn't put him on a situation where we're comparing him to those guys now because it was just his first year starting. So let's see him develop like we really want him to do. But I will say Jalen will become a top 10 quarterback this year, and I guarantee he's probably going to be an MVP candidate.
Yeah. I mean, all that can be a factor, though. I mean, a lot of moving pieces. I mean, sketchy play calling. All that can be a factor, but I mean, at the end of the day, we seen Jalen make a lot of mistakes too. So it's like, I mean, it's a mixture of all that. It was kind of everybody's fault. We can't just all put it on Jalen Hurts. I
I
agree
like
with that.
that. He said, I think he still has Saban in his head. He doesn't want to make a mistake. That's a possibility, man. Hard coaching. Not even just Saban. His dad was a coach. So his dad's always in his head. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has a lot of people that probably, and he's probably even more in his own head than any of us can even imagine. I think that's why he plays everything so calm, cool, collected. Like, I don't want to hear from you. I'm already giving myself the shit about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to hear from nobody else. Trust me, I understand what I need to do. I'm going to go work on it. Like you said, he went out there this offseason, worked on the things that everybody thought he needed to work on. But I feel like Jalen Hurts, definitely, like we seen him make every throw. We seen him, go toe to toe with quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if the defense was trash or not, we went toe to toe with Patty Mahomes. He was going to shoot them out. The year before, he went toe to toe with, Kyler Murray in that Arizona game, putting up big numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was going toe to toe with Brady for a little bit this last game before they kind of took over at the end of the game. So I feel like, yes, Eddie, he's a lot of drops too. Yeah. So I feel like, I feel like we kind of, maybe it's because he wasn't the first round pick or maybe because it wasn't the fan favorite pick to be our future quarterback that we're giving him a little bit of a harder time accepting him as being our future as opposed to, when we drafted Carson or even a lot of other quarterbacks we had, that we were cool with having and thought they were going to take us to the promised land.
You know what it is though? Philadelphia is the kind of city that, I mean, your last impression is the most important one. So yeah, everybody's seen that Tampa Bay game, and it really left a sour taste in their mouth. So I mean, we all seen them struggle. We play horrible. So I mean, like I'm willing to give Jalen all the chances in the world. I want this dude to succeed in Philly, but like I said, that's the only reason that Philadelphia even talk about this dude bad right now because of the last game he played. So he gonna have to redeem himself. He gonna have to come out here and ball this season.
Yeah. What do you guys think is your biggest concern about the team now that OTAs are over with going into, training camp? What would be your number one concern for this football team?
My number one concern is coaching. I mean, I know these dudes got a year under their belt, but I mean, the horrible stuff we saw from Gannon last year, man, it's just it really like it was unacceptable. Like anytime we went up against a quarterback, like a top 10, top 15 quarterback, we got scorched. I mean, the worst game I ever saw in my life, worst Eagles game I ever saw in my life was that Raiders game. But Derek Carr only completed like 4 I think like 3 or 4 passes.
It was like 91% or something.
Yeah, it was so horrible. Like it left. It wanted. After that game, I wanted again and gone. I'm not even gonna lie. I wanted him gone. I wanted him out of here. I don't care if he was the first coach, anything. 91%. That's horrible.
Right.
And the
against our little kids.
That's like when you play Madden on rookie.
Bro, yeah. The ones that were actually, I mean, incomplete, they was drop passes from the receiver. So he could have went 100% on us that game, to be honest. It was horrible. Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert was like 89, 90% on us.
Yeah. And that game was so frustrating because it was a good performance by Hurts in the offense. We just literally lost that game because we could not get their offense off the field to save our lives.
Yeah, that was horrible, bro. That's one of my biggest question marks on this team right now. How will Gannon deploy this defense? Because we got all the dogs to be a top 5, top 3 defense, to be honest. And if we not in that vicinity, like we not even touching the top 10 of it, then Gannon definitely.
Oh, there's no excuse.
There's no excuse. He's not the guy for this job. So that's my biggest concern right now with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I agree with that. I think that everything that you're saying is right as far as with Gannon. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt based off of last year because you didn't really have a lot to work with, but all the signings and stuff and draft picks and everything you did to improve on his defense, if you don't have a top 10 defense, you got to get him out of here. But for me, the biggest concern that I personally have is the health of one Miles Sanders, because I like the other running backs on our team. I like Gainwell and I like Boston Scott, and I think that Kennedy Brooks, somebody that they brought in undrafted, he could do something if he plays well in the preseason. But we got to have one of the top rushing offenses. That's the strength of this team. We did bring A.J. Brown, so I think we're going to make more big plays in the pass game. But make no mistake, we're still one of the greatest rushing teams. We were looking for our identity. We didn't have it in the early season, and then we found it. And we said, this is who we are. We run the ball down everyone's throats. So Miles Sanders gets hurt. I don't know what to say anymore because every year he's hurt. Every year he's not playing as well as he did the year before, especially receiving wise. If you've seen him his rookie year, he had 500 receiving yards. He was very good receiving. And then after, he had a bunch of drops and he can't catch the ball and he has fumbling issues as well. So Miles Sanders in a contract year has to stay healthy and he has to perform at a very, very high level. Otherwise, I think the Eagles should consider trading for a running back at some point in the season before the trade deadline, because we got to have that great production from him. We don't want Hurts like running as much as he did last year. We want to be able to utilize the great receivers that we have and everything. So Miles Sanders, I think, is one of the most important players for our offense to be really successful. And I'm very concerned based off the history of him not being able to stay healthy.
I like that, man. I like that. People aren't talking enough about that. It is, and I feel like Miles is in that prove-it year. You know, his contract's coming up. You know, whether he balls out or not, you know, his future with the Eagles is up in the air right now, right? Even if he has a good season, you know, now you got to worry about paying him the money, you know, now that he's had this great season. But I don't really look too far past that. I think Miles Sanders is going to be good. I'm going to have to go with Nick Sirianni, you know, and like you said before, like we are a running football team. and there's nothing wrong with that. You can run first to open up the pass. There's nothing wrong. Actually, that's the way football was made up. You run to set up the pass. You don't pass to set up the pass.
We're
So
not going to be a winning team with throwing the ball 45, 50 times. That's
yeah.
not who we are.
And if you look at all the elite quarterbacks, when you go out, Brady didn't do that. You didn't see Brady throw that many bombs last year. You know what I'm saying? Down the field, a lot of his stuff, 10 to 12 yard, 7 to 12 yard pass routes that he lets his receivers do his thing. But everybody's like, oh, Brady's so great. But when Hurts does, it's like, oh, he can't throw it deep. You can't move the goalpost there. It's like some of the best quarterbacks out there, they don't really throw these 40-yard bombs every game, all game long. That's just not realistic. That's not what, good football is. Just controlling the clock, running the rock. I think we definitely got a lot of good running backs back there that can definitely do it. I wouldn't mind us picking up a guy like Hunt. If we can get a trade out of the Browns to get a guy like Hunt, bring him to the team. Maybe another one of these bigger bats to add to the mix. But like you said, the rookie Brooks, he could actually fill in there pretty well. He played in Oklahoma, and he kind of looked like, when I was watching his highlight, kind of looked like Miles Sanders out there. They're both 26. The way he ran, he was like a slower version of Miles Sanders, I feel like. Because he's slower because he's actually bigger. But I really do worry.
Break tackles.
Yeah, and he can break tackles. I do worry a lot about Nick having AJ now, and Steichen. I guess Steichen having AJ now. And they try to play like they did the beginning of the year last year. They try to run him back. Okay, now Jalen has a year under his belt. We got a better receiver. Our weapons are more developed. So let's go ahead and go back, try to be that Eagles team. You know what I'm saying? Where we're throwing the ball 40 times a game. I worry about that a lot. And I think that would be definitely a no-no for this team to do, because I really feel like we got to come in and we got to show them that we still are the number one rushing team in the league. And you got to respect that. Now having those pieces is going to make it easier for our passing game to flourish. And I think a lot of these guys are going to have a lot of free yards, as I like to call it, because, if we come and dominate in the run game, there's going to be a lot of open passing lanes there for Jalen Hurts. And I think it's going to be easy for him to pick and choose where he wants to go with the football.
I feel like, in all reality, probably not last year, but Miles Sanders' first 2 years, he should have been a 1,000-yard running back. He should have been at least 1,200-yard running back. I don't feel like he touched the ball enough. Even last year, he didn't touch the ball enough. So, if we actually start feeding this dude, who knows, what kind of year he could have. Giving him about 10 to 15 touches a game, Miles Sanders really is a dynamic back. He could really break it from anywhere on the field. So, I don't know, me personally, even if it was Doug Peterson, Nick Sirianni, I would be itching to get the ball in this dude's hands. I don't know what was going on at the beginning of the season last year. I don't know what that problem is with Miles Sanders, but in a Sean Payton defense and a 49ers, offense and the 49ers offense, Miles Sanders would be a 1,500-yard type back. So I just feel like we got to use him a little bit better. The best way to get a running back past that injury bug thing is you let him get hit a few times. You can't. It was a game. Miles Sanders ran the ball 3 times.
That's ridiculous.
Unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Not even Miles Sanders, just the running backs, period. Touched the ball 3 times. It's like, that's unacceptable. I don't care what era of football you playing in. If you not running the football, defense is just going to sit back and play coverage on you, or they just going to bring heat on you all day. It's like, you got to start making these defensive coordinators guess, like, stay up a little bit. The offense got to be a little bit more unpredictable. And, I feel like that would help Miles Sanders out more.
Yeah, I agree. I do believe that a lot of the reason why he kept getting hurt the last couple of years because he wasn't getting used enough. You even heard Deshaun Jackson and his little thing he did talk about, if he came back, it had to be the right situation because he don't want to be the guy on the sideline only getting like 2 and 3 balls thrown to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're a star player, you're a confident star type player, like you need to get the rock. Whether it's catching it, handoff, whatever. You need to put the ball in his hands to keep his hot confidence up. That's when you get it. Like Miles Sanders, 2 years ago, 3 80-yard touchdown runs. Like, what was it, like the first time in NFL history or something like that? Like, the guy's a beast. Big play waiting to happen. It's like you got to use that as a weapon. He needs to be the feature of your offense. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be the Miles Sanders show with, Goddard, Smitty, AJ, and these guys like that, being cameo players. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we continue to run the way we did, we can run our way straight to the playoffs. Like, even some of the games towards the end when everybody's like, Jalen's not even putting up that high numbers. It wasn't when we were the number one rushing team and we were running the ball so much and winning football games. But it wasn't that he had to put out so many passes. It's just that the passes he were throwing, they were a lot more open. You know what I'm saying? They were a lot more effective. We scored on those passes. He didn't need to throw a 60-yard touchdown because we ran the ball down and failed, 60 yards. Then we just threw a 30-yard touchdown. It's like that's what made his numbers not look so big too. It's just like, wasn't that he wasn't a good thrower. Like, he was dropping dimes. It's just the fact that not every time you're going to need him to throw 300-400 yards. People get stuck with numbers in their head as opposed to when he did have those low numbers. Did you watch those passes? Like, they were actually quality passes, to quality players doing quality things for our football team.
Yeah, don't forget there was drops. There was a bunch of how many touchdowns I think got called back because of flags and stuff. So the team has to be more disciplined in terms of like penalties and doing stuff the right way because you're going to get points wiped off the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So which one of these, I would say, storyline games are you guys most excited to watch this year?
Storyline games.
Because like AJ Brown, Tennessee. You got us going against the Jaguars, Dougie P. You got 2 games against Carson. Like there's storyline set up kind of throughout our whole schedule here.
I'm not even gonna lie. My biggest storyline is it gotta be the Cowboys. Can Jalen get a win against the Cowboys? Because he 0-3 against them, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean that's gonna be our biggest competition in the NFC East. So if he could take like 1 or 2 of these games this year, I mean it'll boost my confidence about Jalen like all the way up there. So I mean every quarterback we had, Carson, Vic, McNabb, they all had their games. They had their moments against the Cowboys. So we gotta see Jalen, get one of these wins against them. All the other storylines I really don't care about, to be honest. Carson coming back, we know Carson game. I feel like we're gonna have at least 8 to 9 sacks against Carson Wentz this year. So he holds on to the football, and
and the team probably still has years of like film from Carson, so that's probably gonna work in their favor. But I agree, and you gotta also look at when they're playing the Cowboys versus last season. So last season they played like the 3rd game of the season, and obviously the team was young and didn't have an identity, so it didn't really go well. And then the second game didn't play very many of the starters. I think they played Devontae so he could break Deshaun Jackson's record, and then that was literally it. So it's a moment for Jalen Hurts to go out in Week 6 in a primetime game that's in Philly and show what he can do against the Cowboys, because that's a Sunday night game and everyone in the world is going to be watching, and then the second game is on Christmas Eve.
Right.
What's better than watching football on Christmas? Like, it doesn't get better than that. So the whole world is going to be seeing him there as well. So he's going to be under the lights of the national spotlight a lot more than what he was, because the Eagles have 5 primetime games, which is among the most in the league. So it's his chance to go out on the big stage and have big moments and show everyone what he can do. And if he succeeds at it, when we get to the playoffs, he's going to have that high level of confidence, because I really think that Dallas game against them and on the Christmas Eve, I think that's a bigger one than the Week 6 matchup, because it's later in the season. And if you win that game, are you worried? Are you really worried about Washington? Are you worried about the Giants? You're probably not. So if you win that game, it's safe to assume that you will be separating yourself and possibly clinching the division after that.
Yep, and it's prime time and it's in dollars. So, I mean, that's going to be the one. That's the game right there. That's going to be a signature game. I mean, all the rest of these games, we don't really play a lot of these teams too much. So it's like, I mean, we either win or we lose, but there's just some teams you just can't stand losing to. And the Dallas Cowboys is one of them, man. I hate every time we lose to these dudes. I hate it, bro.
I do hate losing to Cowgirls.
Yeah.
It makes me so sick. It makes me so sick. I'm probably going to go with, I would like to see that game against the Titans. You know what I'm saying? You know, because it kind of shows both things. Like, is A.J. Brown going to go there, light him up to show that he is the number one receiver they messed up? You know, let him go. But it's going to really show you Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, and Kobe Dean. Can you guys stop King Henry? You know what I'm saying? Like, cause when Henry's running, there haven't been too many people that can stop him. You know what I'm saying? He's always doing his thing when he wants to, how he wants to do it. They're usually the number one rush team. We were number one last year, but I'm pretty sure they were in top 3. You know, like right behind us. Well, actually, Henry didn't play that much, but I think they still were up there, even after he went down. So I like to see that Tennessee game. I think that's going to be a really good game to watch and see if AJ Brown have a good game that year. And if we can stop Derrick Henry and these guys developed enough to stop, you know, a top rushing team in the league. You know, because we can stop them, that'd be great. You know what I'm saying? That means, okay, now we're all locked in and loaded, ready to go, and they'll be setting us up nice for the playoffs.
One of the big games I think no one's really talking about is the Green Bay Packers game. You're playing up against a reigning 2-time MVP, Rodgers back-to-back MVP. And when you look across the schedule, there's not a lot of great elite quarterbacks that you're playing the entire season. And then you're playing Rodgers. And Rodgers has cooked us. Let's not forget that he's had some great moments against us. So for me, this is going to show what this defense is about. Because if you're able to hold Aaron Rodgers in check, then when you go into the playoffs, just as I said earlier with, you know, Jalen Hurts playing those big primetime games, that's going to have his confidence up. If you have success against someone like Aaron Rodgers, then when you go to the playoffs and you got to play Matthew Stafford and you got to play Tom Brady and probably Aaron Rodgers a second time, if you are trying to go on a deep playoff run, then you're going to say, hey, you know what? We played against Rodgers and had success. This is what worked. This is what didn't. So when you're going against Brady and all of them in the NFC, then you're going to have a lot more confidence that you know what you're doing.
All right.
No, I like that. I think Rodgers is going to suffer a little bit, though. I think he'll suffer a little bit with Devontae Adams being gone. He is still Aaron Rodgers, but I feel like, you know, he made a mistake.
I think the team will suffer without him, but I think that Rodgers is going to continue to be Rodgers. Just because, I mean, if you look even before they had Devontae Adams, he won 2 MVPs with Devontae Adams, but he also won 2 MVPs without him.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers, man.
That's a good point. That's a good point. He said, where were we? Let's see. We played, where's the Titans
almost the end of the season. Or, no, week 12, actually. I read that wrong.
12.
Green Bay.
No, we played
week 13. And what? We played them at home. So, yeah, we played the Titans and Green Bay at home. Yes. We're playing the Titans game at.
So.
Also a big game for playoff seeding, because if you have the head-to-head over Green Bay, then hopefully you won't have to go to Lambeau Field. You can still stay in the link.
Yeah.
Our secondary, guys, with the 3 cornerbacks of Bradbury, Slay, and Maddox, will you guys both agree that they're top 5 combination for the best
No question.
quarterback duel in the league?
No question about it.
No. I think they might be number 1. But I'll say top 3 for sure.
Let's see. There's Humphrey and Marcus Peters. There's
You can't really name a lot.
Jari Alexander and Eric Stokes. I don't know. Like, I'll take Slay and Bradbury and Maddox. I think Maddox kind of puts it over the top because Maddox balls out as he cannot play. He's obviously too short to play outside corner. So that's why you bring in James Bradbury. That's why you have Slay. With those two dudes on the outside and Maddox covering the slot receiver, I just think it's shut down. I think Maddox is one of the most underappreciated players because when we're talking about the secondary, we're mainly just talking about Slay and Bradbury. But Maddox, he's packing that thing too. So
yeah,
I love the trio of those three. I think it's the best that we've had in a long time.
Yeah, since at least the Lido Shepard days.
Lido and Sheldon. Yeah.
Sheldon. Yep. Harris. We had Harris too for a little bit.
I'm not even gonna lie. We got to see how Bradbury actually play this year, because, I mean,
he did get cooked last season.
Yeah, he was getting roasted a little bit last season. The year prior though, he was rated, I think, top 5 in the NFL.
But it might help if he no longer has to cover the best wide receiver on the team. Because we all know Slay is going to be doing that.
Yep.
That's true too.
Yeah, it's wait and see right now, because on paper we could say, top, but we got to actually see how these dudes gel together, play together.
Well, those guys, what Maddox and Slay do, and then we have Steven Nelson, who had a decent year last year. They say Bradbury since 2000, he's the number one in terms of like interception ratio or something like that. I think I was looking on Twitter. They're saying like he's the best ball hawking cornerback in the league since 2020. It's like that's pretty good. Slay had a great year picking the ball off last year.
He was getting cooked last year a little bit though. I'm not even gonna lie. He was getting cooked last year, but maybe it was just the Giants' defense fell off. Because the year prior they actually had like a top 10 defense. So, maybe it was just that fall off. But it's wait and see. I just want to see. I gotta see it on the field first before I can say that.
Linebacker core, top 5 in the league. If you're counting Dean, Reddick, and Kaiser White.
I don't know about top 5.
Yeah.
I don't know about top 5.
A little too early.
Maybe top 10, but there's a lot of great linebackers in the league right now.
Singular linebacker, but 3?
I think this is going to be the best linebackers that we've had in I don't know how many years.
In years.
So I think it's going to be because that's the biggest weakness that's been on our defense. Our linebackers are slow. Remember we had, Nathan Gary that's starting games. And this guy, he's basically not even in the league anymore. He was starting games for us a couple years ago. So we don't have like any of these scrubs playing anymore. So I think they're going to handle business and do their thing. They don't have to be, the flashiest linebackers. Just make the tackles and do what you're supposed to do, handle business, and everything else will work out for itself.
I agree.
Okay. And I would say probably not top 5, but we definitely like in the 5 to 10 range. I do see with those young guys. This is way early, but I think they could creep into the top 5 if they play the way that if Gannon can get these guys in the right position and play at a high level. So I definitely think they're in between 5 and 10. What about the receiving core? Devontae, we're gonna say our receivers, and we're gonna add Goddard. So you're gonna add your tight end and your receivers. So Goddard, AJ, Smitty, and Quez. Is that the best 4 receiving targets for an offense in the league? Top 5.
The league right now.
I had to go. Shit.
Number 1, is a lot to ask for.
Yeah.
Not number one,
Top
just top
five?
five.
Top five? Absolutely. Absolutely, no question. Top five.
You mean all like as a whole?
As a whole,
tight end,
those
tight
four
end.
versus any other four, like best three receivers and tight end in the league.
I'll say, that's hard, man. There's a lot of good receiving cores. I'll say top 10. I ain't gonna put them top 5 right now. I'll say top 10.
Top 10?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Goddard's definitely a top 5 tight end, I think. Playing full time, he could definitely be a top 5. AJ Brown's, a young superstar. Smitty's going to definitely have more yards than last year, be a better player than last year. And Quez the same too. So I feel like with the youth, the speed, and the capability of big plays, that this definitely could be a top 5 receiving core. For sure. I'll say I wouldn't put them. The only teams I can really think of right now that you really can't throw them in front of maybe is the Bengals. Because those guys are young too, but they looked really good last year. Chase is a beast. Boyd's a beast. Higgins, great young receiver. The Rams, maybe the Rams and maybe Tampa Bay. Other than that, I don't really see anybody else after those.
You can even put.
You got Miami, Tyreek Hill, Jalen
Miami.
Waddle.
That's all I was about to say. You can even put Miami.
So Tyreek Hill, who they have? Yeah,
Tyreek
Hill,
Hill,
Waddle, Grecky, or what his name?
Gesicki.
Gesicki. And then who's their third receiver? Cedric
Oh,
Wilson.
they got the dude from the Cowboys, remember?
Cedric Wilson.
Cedric Wilson?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's pretty good. A lot of Cowboy fans were mad when they lost him.
It's a lot. You could go. The Raiders.
Waller.
They got Waller.
Yeah, they're loaded. They got Renfro. Yeah.
They got Zay Jones.
Zay Jones.
They loaded over there, man.
That's a good one too. I like that one.
Cleveland.
Who they got?
They got Amari Cooper. They got People Jones over there. They got
People got to improve it.
What's the tight end? What's the tight end name?
Njoku. He lost his job a couple of times, so I don't really think. I think we can.
They just paid him a big extension. Paid him probably more than they should have.
Yeah, I feel that way too with Njoku. Even though he's a good talent, I feel like we got those guys. I would say we have it over those guys.
And you still got to respect Tampa Bay. They got a good receiving core too.
Yeah. They say who they still got?
They got
even if Gronk doesn't come back, who's their tight end?
OJ Howard. Oh, he's
gone. Howard. And then they got Evans.
They got Godwin coming back.
Is he coming back?
They picked up another receiver too. I forget what his name is.
In the draft.
They've been talking about him a lot.
Yeah, so it's a lot of good receiving cores out here, man. It's got Buffalo. Buffalo got a good receiving core.
I do like Buffalo receiving core. I do like that one for sure too.
We're gonna be in the top 10 though.
Yeah, we're gonna be in the top 10.
Overall team, NFL. What are you looking at us?
I think we're a top 10 team.
Top 10, yeah. I can't say 5. There's too many good teams out here.
That's definitely the best team in the division.
Do you think we can sweep the division this year, like Dallas did last year?
The only way we can't sweep this division is if we beat ourselves. Like, you can't even sit here and tell me that any of these teams are better than us.
I
can't see it.
Yeah, I definitely can't.
I think our biggest comp gonna be, really, I think our biggest comp, if they all come back healthy, I think it's gonna be Washington. Because they got a nasty front, man. They front forwards, like they all first rounders.
Yeah, but they ain't really done nothing in 2 years. Remember,
They
2 years ago,
already, they
that last
already.
game that we gave them, that game, Jalen scored 2 touchdowns at the end of the half before they took him out for the rest of the game because they didn't want us to win that
You
game.
just gotta look at it like this
But we
though.
had backup linemen handling those guys. And even last year, we swept those guys. Like, I know some of them were hurt or whatnot, but still,
That's what I was
I
about to
feel like
say. When the last time they all really played together?
they
Like
should be in more
everything.
proven mode than anything. They got to prove it now. It's been 2 years. You got to prove that you're the best, like, D line in the league, and you guys are all bona fide studs because you're first round pick. I feel like that's how I feel about their defensive line. People talked about them for 3 years now, and they haven't put up no numbers to show that they're like a top 5 defensive line in the NFL. So,
But they really haven't all played together since the year they made it to the playoffs. So it's like, I mean, they could get all 4 of them dudes up there healthy. I mean, they might have a squad. Who knows?
I feel you on that, but just generally speaking, I don't care like whose defensive line it is.
mm-hmm.
I really ain't worried about anyone's defensive line because we got some guys on this O line that's crazy. Like Malata's crazy, Dickerson, Kelsey, Lane Johnson still doing it. These guys can handle any great defensive line. Even if you look in history
Mm-hmm.
against even Aaron Donald, like there's plays that Kelsey has had where he's pushing Aaron Donald around. Like I really ain't tripping about anybody's D line if I'm being real.
Yeah, I like that. You guys can say right now how many Pro Bowlers do we have next year? Just off. Just throw a number out there.
6.
6 total.
I'm gonna say 6 because I think it's gonna be Malata, Dickerson, Kelsey, Lane. That's 4 right there. Who else who else can I put? Reddick, that's 5. And maybe Hargreaves. That's 6 right there.
Damn, I got 11.
God damn.
Oh, I was about to say 8. I thought I was
What was
pushing
that year? 2004 when we had like 11 Pro Bowlers that year? Where it's like basically our whole offense and defense went to the Pro Bowl. It was the year we went to the I think we got.
Oh,
Did we
that was the year
go
we
to the
went to the
Super Bowl
Super
that
Bowl.
year? I think it was that year.
2004?
We went to the Super Bowl.
The year we had T.O.
Yeah, I just remember we had a lot of Pro Bowlers that year, and I feel like this is gonna be one of
Defense
those
was
years.
great.
Yeah. So on defense, like you said, I think Riddick gets to go. I think Slade and Bradbury might go because if they're gonna work because they're complementing each other. And they're gonna be shut down cornerbacks. So if they do that, I feel like both of them can go. You know, I say one of our defensive linemen, if not 2 of them, gonna have to go too. I think Hargrave might make his way back to the Pro Bowl, and let's just say a guy like Sweat going back to back Pro Bowls. Sweat went last year. And then you got offensively, like you said, I think Kelsey's going to play his mind out this year because this is last year plan. Lane Johnson's going to ball out. Mylar's going to finally make a Pro Bowl too. Or did he go too as alternate? Did he go?
He didn't go.
Mylar?
I don't
He
think
didn't?
so.
No. Well, Mylar's going to definitely get his first Pro Bowl. I think Landon Dickerson definitely getting his first Pro Bowl too. I think Hurts going to the Pro Bowl this year. One of the 2 receivers, I'm not sure which one, either AJ
I
or
think
Devon.
both of them will.
Both of them go.
I think both
See,
of them go.
there you go. And I think Miles Sanders proves everybody wrong. He goes to the Pro Bowl. So that's about 11. That's about 11 receivers, right? I mean, 11 players right there.
I can see anywhere from like 7 or 8. I think Hurts is going to go. I think we're going to have several linemen go. I think we'll have at least 3 of our linemen in the Pro Bowl. And then on defense, I think Slay makes it. I actually think that Fletch is going to make another one. I think he's going to bounce back because he has a lot more help, and he's going to just go do his thing. So I think we're looking at like 7, 8 guys in the Pro Bowl. Either way, they're going to ball out.
Yeah.
Who's the sleeper everybody's sleeping on right now?
To make the Pro Bowl?
No, just to be
or on the team?
On our team in general. Who do you think is like the guy that none of us is talking about right now, that we haven't probably even talked about him all show long, that probably can show up and show out next year, and we'll be like, "Whoa, where did that come from?"
I'm gonna give y'all a sleeper, and y'all probably won't. Y'all probably gonna be a little bit surprised. And it's a dude. He bounced around a little bit in the league. I mean, never really got settled. But I'm gonna say if he can make the team, I'm gonna say Deion Kane. Deion Kane. I mean, he played for Clemson. I think he played 4 years for Clemson. He's 6'3", 2 something, but he could go up and get the rock. He can win those 1-on-1s in the red zone and stuff like that. So if this dude can make the team, he'd really be a detriment to this team because we don't have too many big wide receivers. We definitely need a dude out here we could put out there. I mean, throw him jump balls. He'll go up and get it. And he's an underrated deep threat. I mean, I watched him every year he played in Clemson. And I don't understand why this dude didn't make an impact in the league yet. I think it was more of injury type thing. I mean, he had to get over a few major injuries. But, I mean, from the plays that he's been making out there at training camp, well, he has a great shot to make this team. And I feel like
in the league.
Huh?
How many years have you been in the league? Is he a rookie?
4th year, I think. His first 2 years, I think he was injured.
He just keeps getting cut.
Yeah, he had tore his ACL one time, and one time he had another major injury. But dude, he a baller though. He a baller. He reminds me of
I feel you.
He reminds me of T. Higgins from the Cincinnati.
Another Clemson wide receiver.
Yeah, same body type and everything.
Clemson be putting out good wide receivers, man.
Yeah. All over the
you got
league.
Hopkins, you got Renfro, you got Mike Williams, you got Higgins. You got a lot of good Clemson receivers in the league. But I feel you on that. I think the receiver position after like the third receiver, because I think we know Devontae and AJ and Quez is going to be the top 3 guys. But after that, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, is it going to be Rager? Really, like the 4th receiver? I feel like they might keep him on the team, not because they think he's good, but because like how he's just like, oh nah, I used the 1st round pick about him, so I ain't about to like get rid of that dude. So I feel like he's gonna be back, but like between Hightower, Greg Ward, and Deion Kane, that's gonna be one of the most interesting battles that we see when it comes to training camp, because you can keep probably going to keep 5, maybe 6 receivers on the team, and who's going to make it and who's not going to make it. That's going to be one of the most interesting storylines, I think. After Quez and Devontae and AJ, who's going to be the rest of the receivers on the team? So Deion Kane definitely has a chance.
Yeah. That's nice. Who's your player? Jim?
Oh, my player? I would have to say, I think that Kenneth Gainwell is going to be big time. He was big time for us last year. Limited snaps, of course, but he had 544 yards from scrimmage. He's a really dangerous player out of the backfield as a receiver. In terms of the running backs on the team, no one can come close to him in terms of receiving. I'm just talking about just as a receiver out of the backfield. He just makes it happen. And where the NFL is going, you're seeing a lot more running backs catching the ball a lot out of the backfield. And we were talking about Shane Steichen's offensive scheme. He came from the Chargers. Who did he have with the Chargers? Austin Eckler. And I think Kenny can be the Eagles' version of Austin Eckler if he's used the right way.
I like it. That's true. I always look at him as being more of a Brian Westbrook. I'm not Brian Westbrook. Darren Sproles. That's why I feel like Gainwell's kind of like our Darren Sproles of the team. We can go back to those days where we had the three-headed monsters: Westbrook, Deuce Staley, and Corey Buckhalter. I feel like we can get something like that going this year with him, Boston Scott, and Miles Sanders going this year. Because they all deserve to get some touches for sure. They all deserve to, put their stamp on this offense. So, the bad thing with guys,
I even like Huntley too. I mean, Huntley is limited amount of snaps. He showed me some stuff too. So we got a nice stable of backs. Definitely got a nice stable of backs.
I would say that maybe a sleeper would be Tyree Jackson. He bumped it up. We got all pumped up about him last year. He gets hurt. We don't see him. He comes back, doesn't really get involved in the offense. He has a couple catches, then gets hurt again. Because he's going to come out this year because, like you said, it's kind of like with Jordan Davis and those other guys. You can't teach that size and speed. That's a big man, at the tight end position that, we've seen him catching some balls. We've seen highlights of him in practice of him being a super stud. Like, can the Eagles actually get him on the field this year? Will he be healthy enough to stay on the field? And if he stays on the field, can he produce some of those plays that we've seen him make, when he was healthy? So I think a big sleeper would be a Tyree Jackson this year on offense. If we had to go on defense, I would say Davion Taylor. What happens if he blows past, if he blows past TJ Edwards, and all of a sudden Davion Taylor's that guy coming off the bench, being our fourth linebacker in the game, like, who knows? Like, I thought Davion was good whenever he played. His problem is he doesn't stay healthy. He's always getting hurt. He come in, make some plays, and he's hurt again. Come in, make some plays, and he's hurt again. It's like, come on, man, what the hell's going on? Like, you can't get excited about a guy that does, the best ability is availability, and he definitely don't be available. That's kind of like with Tyree Jackson too as well. Like, he's only, 1 year on our team, but it's like, hey, I want to get excited about these guys that we were excited about. Like, let's see these guys actually play some good football. Let's see, if they come in, they don't have as much pressure as they would have had last year to be good. We didn't have no linebackers last year, so Davion, maybe he kept getting hurt because he was like trying too hard, to impress. Now he knows we got 3 other linebackers, you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't have to be the man no more. Like, we got some good linebackers there. So now he just got to come in and do his role. Same way with Tyree Jackson. Like, we got Calcaterra, who I heard had a great OTAs. You still got Jack Stahl. You still got Dallas guys who get a lot more targets this year, probably than he had last year. You got to realize half of the season last year we still had Zach Ertz. So
I agree with Marianne's comment though. I mean, he definitely got to improve on his route running and stuff like that because a lot of times Tyree Jackson look goofy out there on the field. So, I mean, maybe it's just him getting acclimated to the position, but I don't feel like he's going to be a big impact on his team this year. It's going to take him a couple more years before he get it.
It is going to be interesting, though, who's going to be the second tight end on the team because, like you said, every year it's been basically we've had Goddard and we've had Ertz, and those are our 2 guys. And before that, we had Selleck and we had Ertz. Ertz was our second guy. So we haven't really had this discussion for a while. Like, we know Goddard's a really good player, but who's going to emerge as the second guy? That's another thing that I'm going to be looking for when training camp starts.
Yeah. And it's wide open too. Like you said, any of those guys really can do it. I know Jackson's not really practicing yet, but maybe by training camp he'll be practicing again. Like I said, Calcaterra, whatever his name is, that dude had a good OTA. They were saying he was catching everything out there. So Jack Stahl, we know him. I want to see a fullback this year. I want to see Jack Stahl maybe as a fullback. I think we need to have more lead block plays this year in terms of the run game. And if you're not going to go out there and get an actual fullback, Jack Stahl definitely can be a good guy to plug and play at our
But
fullback now.
they need to come out with a big formation where they put Jordan Mailata as the fullback.
Yes, as a tailback.
Keep Dillard for those plays, and Dillard can play left tackle, and then just put him as fullback and let him do it like rugby style. Remember when he got drafted and they were showing all those videos of him throwing people?
Facts. I was thinking
He's
you
a
put him
big
at
dude,
tailback
man.
jumbles in your jumbo goal line jumbo formation. You put him at tailback and you put go get what's the boy named Jordan Davis. Put him at fullback with Mailata at tailback and just run up the gut.
Oh my god,
No one's stopping that.
that would be crazy.
No one's stopping that.
It's too risky. It's like.
Well, we say that, but remember back in the day, Refrigerator Perry ran a lot of plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were good star defensive players that played on offense just on goal line
There
situations.
was a lot of offensive linemen that scored touchdowns last year.
But you really want your starting left tackle at fullback?
Yeah.
Not like full time, but like imagine there's a play and it's like 4th and 1 and it's like a big game. That would be crazy to see.
Yeah. It's like one play for real. Like it's not like he's gonna be every single, but pretty much every time you get to goal, first and goal from the 3 or 2 or 1, then you put that package in and go score a touchdown.
Yeah, Lane catch a touchdown last year.
Yeah, Lane caught a touchdown last year too.
I know I wasn't tripping. I know he caught a touchdown.
And they like that stuff. Linemen like being in part of that.
Lane Johnson scored more touchdowns last season than Kenny Golladay.
Wow. That's so sad.
And the Giants paid him $72 million. So
wow.
Nice.
That touchdown Lane was nice too. I liked it. He tried to jump into the stands, but but see, that's what you normally get. You get the tackle eligible plays all the time, where those trick plays. It's just like you're not even thinking about him going out and he gets open. But this would be every single time we're in the red zone, 3 or less in the goal line, just go jumbo. I guarantee, you won't stop it. You got run right behind Landon Dickerson and Mailata to the left side, with Jordan Davis as your fullback and Mailata as your tailback. I promise you're scoring touchdowns every single time. There will not be one time, because there's no 3 people that can deal with 2,000 pounds worth of meat coming full steam at them. No 3 people in the world.
2,000 pounds.
You think about it. Well, not 2,000, maybe 1,200 or something like that. What Landon weighs 312 or something like that. Mailata weighs 345.
They're going after their knees.
So, yeah, but they only can go after the lineman needs. They're not going to be able to touch Jordan Davis or Mailata. Yeah, they might try to submarine the lineman, but okay, that's cool. You submarine the lineman. What about the other 2 guys? Ain't no linebackers putting Jordan Davis on his butt.
It's a little bit. A little bit further run.
Do you guys think we worried about the players' health too much in football today? These are athletes getting paid millions and millions. I want to see the best every single time they touch a field. I'm not really. I care about the health to a certain extent, but not really, because we pay you money to be great. I want to see you be great. I'm not gonna, sugarcoat it. If it's to a betterment of our team and we can do something productive with them, I say we use them to their full ability. It's like when people say Jalen should stop running so much. Why? He's good at it. Jalen's a smart runner. He slides. He runs out of bounds. He don't take that many major hits. He's a pretty smart runner. Let him do his thing. It stresses out the defense. It's an advantage Eagles when he is doing this. So it's I don't know. Do you think that the media and everybody else is starting to get too worried about players' health?
Well, I feel like it's a player safety and player health is a very important thing, but that's the biggest reason that the NFL rules have become soft. Everything is trying to protect people. So at some point, it's gonna become like flag football. Put Brian Dawkins, for example. Every Eagles fan loves Brian Dawkins
Mm-hmm.
because he was crazy and he would just go knock the shit out of somebody that's coming
Mm-hmm.
across the field. If you put Brian Dawkins in right now with these rules, he would get a flag all the time. He would probably get ejected at some point, and he would probably get fined like every single week. It's crazy.
Malu, a lot of those dudes.
Any of those guys, Ray Lewis, any of those guys that played it like in that tough defensive era. They're just trying to protect so much the players, and it's really not like that for the defense. The defense is always suffering. Like, even if you're a corner, you can't even breathe on somebody or you get 15-yard penalty. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It's making it worse. Like, why would you rather pay these players? Because you see every year the players' contracts are going higher and higher and higher. Why would you be that cool with paying somebody that much more money, but then, you know, like, baby them? Like, if I'm paying you that much more money, I want you to go perform at a high level all the time. You know, I want to see you make snot bubbles if you're on the defensive side of the ball. I want to see that because that's part of the money I'm giving you. I'm giving you $1 million to see people have snot bubbles all day. You know, I don't think the league, like you said, it's soon enough it's going to be flag football. And I think that's ridiculous. They need to start pushing towards the other way because every player knew from Pop Warner when you signed that first consent form that it was a dangerous sport. It's a sport for men, gladiators. So why are you taking that away? You know, you might as well, you know, everybody knows what they're doing. I don't feel sorry for people. You know, I play football all the way up to semi-pro, college, semi-pro, all that stuff. And it's a little funny up there sometimes, maybe. I don't know. You know, I don't really think about it, really, for the most part. But at the same time, I knew, especially me being a smaller guy, I knew every time I went out there, I'm going against a bunch of bigger, faster, stronger guys that can knock me out, you know, do crazy things to me. I dislocated both my collarbones before, you know, in one play from a late hit. So I understand the dangers of it, but it's like they all sign that contract and get that big money because of the dangers of it. So it's like, why would you try to stop it? Like, why are we, especially as fans, like, I don't feel like we don't even need to be as concerned about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he's on our team, we should want him to produce. We don't know how long he's going to be on our team. He can be on our team for 1 year. He can be on our team for 10 years. He can be on our team for 2 years. You know, we don't know the extent of him being on our team. There's a lot of different things that can go, you know, that's involved with that, you know, from contracts to trades to all that kind of stuff. So as long as we got him on our team, we should just want them to do the most, I feel like.
I don't even think the NFL care about these players' health. I think it's more
they don't.
It's them. You know, once the CTE cases start hitting heavy and crazy, like that's when they start trying to change the rules. They don't really care about these players' health. They just trying to protect themselves.
They care about money. It's the only thing they care about.
Exactly. You gonna pay a dude $300 and something million. You don't want him out there getting killed. And plus, I mean, they was getting ate up in money with them CTE cases. So it's like they don't really care about the players. It's just they trying to protect their
No, they absolutely don't.
Yeah, BG go.
I think it's kind of like I was talking about this on my show about, you know, the Dan Snyder situation. You know, like Roger Goodell and people in the NFL has been covering up what these guys doing. They're covering it up.
Right.
Because if they don't, then, you know, Dan Snyder has a bunch of dirt on everyone, and money talks. So they're looking out for owners that are doing this trash ass stuff, and they don't care because the players, they're gonna do their thing and make money for the league. So it's just one of those things, man. The NFL really only cares about themselves.
Only thing billionaires care about is you affecting their money. I mean, when the owners found out Dan Snyder was dipping into their bread, that's when they really wanted to speak up. All the other stuff they ain't really care about. It's like, I mean, all that matters to billionaires is money.
Yeah. And that's pretty much all even the stars too. Like you start seeing the stars when they start making these fat contracts, they don't want to play as hard no more. Oh, I'm an asset. I'm a commodity. I can't get hit no more. You play football, you should be expected to get hit, offense or defense, quarterback or no quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like you should be expecting to get hit. You can't be sitting there playing games. Like you see some of these guys, they drag on injuries a lot longer than what they really should be. They should be out a week or two, but now they off for like 4 or 5 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not legit just because you consider yourself a star player. People are paying you top dollar to see you play every single week, so you should be dying. It should take. That's why you like some of these dogs that are out there that see them play through injuries because they did it back in the day. Like Rice and these guys, remember, or even Ronnie Lott. Remember, he broke his finger or something like that. He snapped that thing back on and went back in the game. Like people do crazy stuff back in the day to make sure that they're out there playing football at a high level, and they weren't even getting paid as much. That they're getting paid like crumbles compared to these guys. You know what I'm saying? I imagine what was Emmitt Smith's best contract, or what was Ronnie Lott's best contract compared to like your 15th or 20th best safety in the league this year. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys are getting paid mucho money to play at a high level, and I don't like the fact that they're trying to wash that out of football.
Right.
But yeah, guys, we talked about everything. It's about an hour 40. Shout out to the 30 still up in here. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe to all of these guys. One Trey Rock, Philly Jim, BG31, BGN Sports Media. All links are inside there. We're all growing. We're all bringing you fire content. So make sure you guys support us and, help us out. Any final words, guys? Anything y'all want to throw out there that we missed?
Nah, man, I feel like we covered it all. Man, I'm just ready for training camp to start, ready for the season to start, man. It's coming.
Let's answer Jay this before we get out of here, too. What's more excited to see? What are you more excited about, the offense or defense this year?
Me, I want to see the defense. I feel like the offense is gonna be the offense. I mean, like I said, it was a lot of times I was disgusted with Jonathan Gannon last year. I just want to see if he's gonna improve this year. That's all.
I'm excited for both, but I gotta go. If you had to tell me to choose, I would have to go with the offense, just because of all the weapons that the team has. Last year, I think as much as people was pointing out, Jalen Hurts being a part of the reason why the offense did not succeed as much as they should have. I think that another Jalen on the team was a bigger reason why the offense could not do what they needed to do. And I think y'all know the Jalen that I'm referring to. But when you go from having Rager to having AJ Brown, it's a big difference because Devontae was already doing his thing. He was already doing his thing, playing good pretty much every week. But he didn't have like another player that was, not even cooking, just doing the basic stuff. And Rager was weak. He was getting thrown on the ground by anytime we face a big corner, he could not even get past the line of scrimmage. That's how bad it was. So I think these two dudes together is just going to be everything that we need to take the offense to the next level, which is why I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited for the offense too. If I had to pick one, I feel like those defense guys, they're gonna do their thing. We've always kind of had a really good defense, minus a couple of years here and there. Our defense always do handle business. You know what I'm saying? I think with the players we added to this defense, they can go back to business as usual. But this offense, all this question, I'm just so ready to shut the haters up. I'm just so ready for everybody to see Jalen Hurts is the top 10 quarterback. I'm ready to show the world what kind of offense we have. I think our offense, sky's the limit for these guys. They can be trash or they can be the greatest offense ever to play football.
Speaking of the people that's talking trash, I don't care what platforms that you're on, but if you're going to talk shit, do not do it on Twitter. Because I promise you, I've been bookmarking all the tweets, and when it comes to the season, I'm gonna be bringing them back up. I'm gonna just
Yes,
leave it right there. I'm gonna just leave it right there.
Yes,
I do
sir.
like it, man. Receipts are out. You know, that's what I love about doing this. Everything I say, I don't even care because I back it up 1,000%. Jalen Hurts gonna be MVP candidate. Eagles will win 13-4 this year or better, and we're going to the bowl, baby. So,
Well,
give them one last time. Go ahead and give them one last breakdown where they can find you at on all your social media platforms. We can get out of here, guys.
y'all come check me out, man. Check me out on YouTube. Just go on and search Philly Jim. I do a lot of videos on the Eagles. I have a podcast as well. It airs on Fridays at 8 p.m. talking about the Eagles. So it's called the LinkedIn Podcast, link with a C. And check that out. And then I also have an NFL podcast as well on Saturdays where we talk about more stuff other than just the Eagles. So that's really also a very interesting thing. It's called the Gauntlet Podcast. So yeah, y'all come rock with me, Philly Jim on YouTube.
Yes, sir. Hey, thanks again for stopping by, my guy.
Thanks for having me.
Keep grinding, keep doing your thing over there. And hey, shout out to Tone the Shields. We did our show without he had some things going on tonight, but he will be back with us next week as we rock another episode of the Bird Brain Podcast.
Yes, sir.
One Trey.
Yeah, you already know it's your boy, One Trey Rock. I mean, 1/2 for Birds Online, 1/4 for Birds of Broad Street, and I do my own thing, man. Just come check me out.
Take him out in the cave.
Yeah, I said, fly from the cave, let's get it.
Fly, Eagles, fly. We out. Peace.